Pentax LX. Eagle-eyed viewers might remember this camera from a video I did a while back where I was unearthing garbage. And basically what happened was I purchased about 30 pounds worth of filth from Goodwill. Kind of a quintessential Advantex. Wow. This is scuffed. I'm definitely going to wash my hands after this. I'm not joking. I am going to shower after handling this camera. Finally, the big one. This is it. This is the reason. A Pentax LX. Now it says bad and parts, which leads me to think that this was a mistake. It smells horrific, and I don't know if that's just the overwhelming scent of failure. Yeah, I got a Pentax LX, and it doesn't work, and it probably will never work, but I got one, so we can talk about it now. And that was why I did this video. I do not recommend shopping on the Goodwill site for cameras. I mean, if you really want some stinkers, that's the place to go. You can probably find a few winners, but if you're looking for a camera that you can just like use, wouldn't be my first recommendation. So in this poundage of filth, nothing really worked too well. There's a few things I was like, oh, this kind of works, this kind of works. That was a lie. They all didn't really, including this. This one did not work. However, over the course of the last few months, I was able to kind of potentially get it to work again. And I'm not really confident in that just yet, so I'm not going to like make a video and be like, if I can fix LXs, because I don't think I can at this point. I have a better understanding of them now having been in one, but this is the first one I've held. This is the first one I've taken apart, and this is the first one that I have fixed. But it was kind of free, I guess. So here it is. Now, I'm going to shoot with this, but there's a few things I just wanted to point out about this camera in particular. This was released in 1980, and it ran from 1980 to 2001, I believe. Kind of like 60th anniversary of Pentax as a brand, hence the LX is the Roman numeral for 60. And some people would argue that this is like Pentax's penultimate best camera that they've ever made. And I would probably agree with that. A few things though I want to point out. I really like the K1000. I love the ME Super. I love the MX. Those are all like kind of standard Pentax cameras that I enjoy a lot. I find them very repairable. I find them really reliable, and I find them great to just give to somebody who might not completely understand film photography and be like, hey, go have fun, and then they can. So I think that's great. The LX kind of does the same thing, but there's also a few other things that kind of set it apart from that. Why I think this might be the best camera. First of all, it has like dust and weather proofing along the entirety of it. This one does not. That did not really survive my repair process because they were already falling out, and then most of them are missing anyway because I suspect somebody tried to get in here, hence the bad in parts. That being said, without it, it's still very nice. It's got a dual coated black paint system, so that way like if any like edges come like rubbed off, the undercoat is also black, so you don't get as much of the patina effect. It doesn't get as worn as other cameras might, which is a very minor thing, but I think it shows like a greater attention to detail. And then the other thing I want to point out is just the top of this camera is so succinct. It is so clean looking. This one has some dust and stuff in it, but for all intents and purposes, there's not like 1,000 different little mode dials. There's not a bunch of different things. There's not clutter everywhere. It's simple. You have your shutter speed dial, you have your ASA, you have your exposure compensation, and that's about it. And I really like that. I think that it kind of takes a lot of similar cameras at that time in that 1980 time period and boils it down to the basics in terms of what it offers a professional user or just any other kind of user. I think the other thing I really enjoy about this is that it kind of like takes different parts of Pentax's flagship brands or other cameras that they have, and like, I like this piece, I'm going to put it on here. I like this piece, I'll put it on here. And you can see that because it has kind of a similar exposure compensation, ASA selection to like an ME Super. It has a very similar meter readout to like the ME or an MX with the LED going over all of those. It has the aperture preview window such as the KX and the MX. It has this really, really nice looking, I love this advance lever. I really, really genuinely do. It's like this nice smooth piece here. It feels very good in the hand. On the front here, again, it's kind of the same story. Very small, boiled down camera. I mean, this is very tiny. This is, I think, there's a AE1. It's smaller than an AE1. It has a 1/2000th of a second shutter speed, and then also you have the option to do 2-second or 4-second exposures. You have a locking mechanism for your shutter. You have a stop down lever here, which is nice. Also a mirror up switch. The other great thing about this is it has one of the most, like, genuinely the best sounding self-timer that I've ever heard on a mechanical self-timer camera system. I'm a huge fan. It's so quiet. Shoot a roll through it, see how I feel about it. But for now, I just wanted to make a video to talk about it because I really enjoy it. And the other big thing about this is the only Pentax 35mm SLR where you can remove the prism. Now that's not always like a huge selling point, but it's just something I really enjoy. Gives you a different option here, and it just kind of gives you a little bit more versatility. The other great thing about it is they made multiple prism attachments. So you can get one that's a smaller one without the hot shoe. You can get one with a bigger viewfinder, all sorts of different types. This one also has your, I guess, diopter control in there, which is really helpful. So overall, I get the hype. I understand it. Big fan so far. I think it really brings a lot to the table, and I'm stoked to get to shoot with it. So yeah, and at one point, maybe if I feel more comfortable in the repair process, I might make a video going over that, but we're definitely not there. I would feel bad because it's just not really my skill set right now. I got this working. I should not have done a 2-second exposure. I got it working, but that's about it for right now. So I guess I could probably take off the bad in parts because now I just need all the parts. We're good to go. Look forward to a future video going over that, the shooting process with it, and my thoughts on that. But until then, thank you for watching. Appreciate it as always. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.